Alright, you made it through Unit 4. Now we're moving on to Lesson 5, Unit 5. This is going to be a longer unit, okay? And probably our most important one yet because it's about graphing. And we're going to do a lot of graphing in this class, okay? So, we need to make sure on this unit that we are focused and really trying to do our best and keeping up with our assignments because this is a very important unit to the rest of what we're going to do. So, Unit 5, Lesson 1, this is coordinates and scatter plots. This lesson should be pretty easy for you as an introduction to graphing, okay? So our two objectives are to identify the parts of the rectangular coordinate system, you guys should know those, and to name and plot points in a coordinate plane, also should be pretty easy. Alright, let's get started. So first thing we need to know is here's our coordinate plane, okay? I've got everything color-coded here for you. So we need to know things about the coordinate plane. The first thing we need to know is that our coordinate plane is made up of a horizontal or x-axis. Okay, so the x-axis is the one that goes side to side this way horizontally, and then the vertical axis, the y-axis, goes up and down. Okay, so x side to side, y up and down. Okay, the point 0, 0 right in the middle here is called the origin. Okay, origin because that's where our coordinate plane originates. So we should know what the word originate means. It means it starts. Okay, so our coordinate plane starts right here in the middle. That's called the origin, where it originates. And then it goes positively this way, negatively this way. Make sure when you're making your number lines that positives go to the right and negatives go to the left. Okay, and then for the y-axis, positives go up, negatives go down. Then we got what are called ordered pairs, or we can also call these coordinates. Okay, you may see them called both. Ordered pairs of coordinates. That is a location in our coordinate plane. Okay, so this out here is a location in my coordinate plane. The first number is my x. Okay, that tells me how to move on the x-axis. And the second number tells me how to move. Whoops, sorry, I should probably color code that the right way, huh? My x-axis was blue, so I need to make sure my x is blue, and then my y is red. First number tells me how to move on the x-axis. So on the x-axis, I always start at 0 here, and the first number tells me to move positive 3, so I'm going to go on the x-axis, 1, 2, 3, positive. So I'm right here. And the y value tells me how to move on the y-axis. It's a negative 2, so that tells me to go down 2. So from where I'm at, I go down 2, and here's my location. Alright, let's move on to a little bit more about the coordinate plane. One thing that we need to understand is our quadrants. Okay? Our quadrants are numbered a certain way. And we start with quadrant 1. And quadrant 1 is numbered where everything is positive. So this up here is quadrant 1, where we got positive numbers this way and positive numbers this way. So any location out here should have two positive numbers. So again, this is quadrant 1, and we're going to write it as Roman numerals, okay, because that's how you'll see it written a lot. So quadrant 1. Well, my x value in these, okay, in the first quadrant, my x value is always positive, and my y value is always positive. Okay? So if I've got a coordinate out here in quadrant 1, I should have a positive x and a positive y. Then we go counterclockwise. I don't know who decided that, okay, but that's what we do. So we go counterclockwise. So over here is quadrant 2, Roman numeral 2. Well, over here in this space, you'll see that our x values are negatives in quadrant 2. And our y values are still positives. So if I see an ordered pair or a coordinate that's got a negative first number and a positive second number, that has to go out here in quadrant 2. Okay, and on your assignment, sometimes they're going to tell you, without plotting the points, tell me what quadrant the point goes in. Okay, and we'll do one of those here at the end of this slide. Well, if we keep going counterclockwise, next up is quadrant 3. So we'll put a Roman numeral 3 here. This quadrant has negative x values and negative y values. Alright, and then if we finish up over here with quadrant 4, we'll put a Roman numeral 4. Looks like IV. And this has positive x's and negative y's. Okay? So again, sometimes they might give you a point. They might say, oh, I don't know, tell me where the point 5, negative 1, what quadrant that is in, okay, without plotting it. Well, we've got a positive first number, so that tells us it's got to be over here, either quadrant 1 or 4, and we've got a negative second number. So positive first number, negative second number puts us in quadrant 4. Okay, so there's an example of a problem you might get on your assignment. It'll say, tell me where this is located, what quadrant, without plotting it. If they give you the point 0, 0, well, this isn't in a quadrant. Its location is the origin. So if I said point 0, 0, it would be the origin. If I gave you the point 4, 0, that would go right here. It's also not in a quadrant. So what is its location? That would be on the x-axis. So if they ask you for the location of this point, it'd be on the x-axis. Or this point would be on the x-axis. If I did the point 0, negative 3, that's down here. That location is on the y-axis, not in a quadrant. Okay, to be in a quadrant, it's got to be out in the space out here, and not on one of the lines. Okay, let's go on to some more examples. Okay, this says to write the ordered pair that corresponds to each point. So, when I write an ordered pair, I need to make sure I've got parentheses and a comma, and I'm going to have two numbers separated by the comma. Well, if I start at the origin, I'm going to do point A first. If I start at the origin, I need to go over positively 1, 2, 3. So that's my first number. Okay, and we'll color code that for x's. So it's 3. And then my y value is up 1, 2, 3. So the ordered pair is 3, 3. Okay, that's the coordinate. Alright, let's try B. B is located at negative 1, 2, 3, 4 on the x-axis. And on the y-axis, we go up positive 1. Okay, so that's out there in quadrant 2 with a negative first number and a positive second number. If we go to point C, we should be able to tell it's in quadrant 3, so it's going to need two negative numbers. Well, we're at negative 5 on the x-axis and negative 5 on the y-axis. So it goes to the left 5 and then down 5. And then point D. We're over here in quadrant 4, so we should have a positive x value. Our x value is over positive 1. And we should have a negative y value, and it's at negative 3. Okay, so if they say to write the ordered pair that corresponds to the point, that's what they mean. Okay? Alright, let's go on to some more examples. And sometimes they'll tell us to plot the points. Okay? Well, if I want to plot the points, what I need to do is put a dot at the location it's telling me. And I need to make sure I label that point. So point A is at 3, 4. So I'm going to go over 3 on the x-axis and up 4 on the y-axis. I'm going to put a dot in that space. And I'm going to label it point A. Alright, point B is at negative 2, negative 3. That's down here in quadrant 3. Put a B there. And then point C is at 2, 0. So that means over 2 and up or down 0. So I'm right there on the x-axis. That's point C. Alright, when they give you those examples, it is okay to go ahead and put them all on one coordinate plane and plot them all. Okay? And if you wanted to put, like, if they didn't give you labels of the points, like let's say problem 21 was this point, then you could put number 21 above it. Or number 22 above this one if you wanted. Okay, but if they tell you what the points names are, put them above. Alright, and let's go on to our last example. Another way we can use our coordinate plane is for scatter plots. Okay, let's pretend like these are the heights and weights of our 8th grade basketball team. Okay, so these are our 8th grade boys basketball team right here with their heights and their weights. So what we got here is a scatter plot, okay, where our heights are on this axis down here. So here's all our heights in inches. And then our weights go this way. So we got our weights in pounds. And what we've done is we've taken this first person, their height and weight, and put a dot at that coordinate. So we've gone to 72 and up to 190 and given them their point right here. And the second person is 70 inches and 170 pounds. So we went to 70 inches and 170 pounds and put the dot there. So that's how we make a scatter plot. Now we need to know how to read it. Okay? So we got 4 questions over here. The first one says, what are the units on the horizontal axis? Well, this is my height, and my unit is in inches. Okay? So we're in inches there. What are the units on the vertical axis? Y-axis, that's over here. Our unit is pounds. This says to estimate the weight of a player who is 71 inches tall. Okay? Well, if we look at our scatter plot and how it trends, typically, okay, we can tell it's going upward. So if somebody is 71 inches tall, you might guess, okay, we got people that are 70 inches tall that are here right around 170 pounds, 180 pounds. So maybe if I'm 71 inches tall, I might be right in here, maybe at like 175 pounds. Okay, so really you can just estimate it. It's a good guess is what it is. But if I'm 71, okay, I should be somewhere in here where my data can kind of trend upward here. So I wouldn't want to put my 71 person down here because that doesn't make any sense with the rest of my points. So we'll put about 175 pounds. And the last question, okay, we want to generalize sometimes with the scatter plot, meaning tell me how does the data, what's the trend, okay, what's happening? So it says, in general, how does weight change as height changes? Well, as my height goes up, what usually happens to my weight? The higher my height gets, the higher my weight gets. Okay, so how does weight change as height change? I would say something like, as height increases, and I'm abbreviating because I'm out of room here. As height increases, weight increases. And so as height increases, the weight increases. So as height goes up, the weight goes up. That's how we could say weight changes as height changes. In general. Not always though. Alright? Okay, if you have any questions on coordinates or scatter plots, ask. Otherwise, good luck on the homework.